Hello, and thanks for joining us for this week's online exclusive. I'm Courtney Weiner.
And I'm Kyle Amato. Here's what we've been following this Tuesday, November 7th.
A familiar fraternity is in trouble in Florida after the death of a pledge, and its Elon chapter is also causing controversy. Pi Kappa Phi was kicked off of Elon's campus in 2015 following a hazing investigation, but members of the group continue to operate using the Pi Kappa Phi name. Elon's interim director of fraternity and sorority life, Jordan King, said any student in the unofficial fraternity won't be allowed to rush this spring when Pi Cap officially returns to campus, but he is asking the Elon community for help.
Students who become aware that anyone may be representing or associating with an unrecognized group on this campus, so specifically Pi Kappa Phi, should report that individual through student conduct. Student conduct will then follow up and make sure that the appropriate process runs its course for just as they would for any individual who allegedly violates an honor code policy.
Yesterday, Florida State University suspended all Greek organizations following the hazing death of a student pledging that school's chapter of Pi Kappa Phi. King says he is working with the Pi Kappa Phi National to prevent incidents of hazing at Elon when the fraternity returns.
We'll continue to work with the Pi Kappa Phi national staff on making sure that we're able to support this chapter so that we don't have any incidents like that. I can't speak directly about that incident or how the Pi Kappa Phi international staff is working to resolve anything that's going on there.
Pi Kappa Phi will be returning to Elon for Spring Rush, which begins in February 2018.
Today's election day and voting is happening all over the country. Grace Morris has more on the local races here in North Carolina.
Today, residents of Burlington will be heading to the polls to cast their votes for mayor. There are two candidates left after the primary election in October: CeeLo Fawcett, the current mayor pro tem of Burlington, and Ian Baltutis, the current mayor. Baltutis won 53% of the primary vote, something he believes is a good sign for the final election.
We're very comfortable going into the general election. We're not resting at all. We're continuing to push.
Fawcett only had 36%, but he doesn't believe that this sets him back.
I grew up here. I know just about everything in Burlington, and that's a plus on my side. I know where people are. I know what we need.
Both Fawcett and Baltutis have the same goal: making the community better.
If I lose, I'm not going away. I told some council members, I've been active in my community, and I'm going to stay active in my community. Again, I love Burlington. It means it's dear to my heart.
If this election doesn't go our way, if we don't make it through November 7th, we'll continue to do what we've been doing, which is focusing on organizing our community, focusing on bringing folks together to strengthen Burlington.
If you're a resident of Burlington and you want to find your polling place, you can go to alamance-nc.com/Board of Elections. Grace Morris, Elon Local News.
And we'll be sure to keep you updated on the results of the mayoral election on our website, elonnewsnetwork.com.
The grandmother-in-law of the gunman behind the Texas church massacre was killed during the attack. Devin Kelly killed 26 people and injured more than 20 at a Baptist church on Sunday. Nicole Plant lives in San Antonio, the closest major city to the small town. She says she is shocked that an event like this could happen in her home state.
This happened in such a rural, small town area, and usually you hear of these things happening in Las Vegas, New York, places that are bigger and more populated. And so I think it's really unexpected, and I think it's just going to take a big toll on Texas. But Texas as a state is kind of, proud, and I think they're really going to all rally together and try to move past this in the best way as possible.
Plant lives in San Antonio, which is the closest city to Sutherland Springs, and she hopes that pro-gun legislation in Texas, especially in her area, changes after this shooting.
On a lighter note, the class of 1967 returned home this past weekend, and when they graduated from Elon, the university was still a college. The mascot was a fighting Christian, and Dr. J. Earl Danley was the president. Our Brooke Wavag sat down with the class of 1967 to find out what has changed and what never will.
I should have studied more instead of playing around so much.
For 1967 Elon alumna Sandy Bergman Inman, the Elon she went to has been transformed.
I haven't been here in 40 years, so I was just amazed. I mean, I remember the four walls, and everything was in there except for the church, on the other side, and the gymnasium. So it was just, it's so beautiful. It's just gorgeous.
But some things never change.
Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, whiskey.
Inman's classmates Wayne Seymour and Phil Shaw hadn't performed together since 1965, but at their 50th homecoming reunion, they picked up right where they left off.
It was great fun to sing with him because I found that his voice has changed less. And mine, I used to be quite higher, and mine's way down here now. So I had to adapt, but I was surprised that we could still do it.
Their time as a folk duet created memories that have lasted a lifetime, including one performance in West Hall.
I remember it because my wife was sitting in the corner, and I didn't notice her, but she turned to the house mother and says, "I'm going to marry him, but he doesn't know it yet." And she did.
Like Seymour, Inman says at Elon, you find your people.
It was such a family, you know, and the ties that you make are so close, the people are so genuine.
So while the university might not look the same, it will always be home. Brooke Wivag, Elon Local News.
University President Leah Lambert stopped by the 50th Reunion 10 at Saturday's tailgate, where many of the alumni had the chance to meet him for the first time.
Well, that's all the news we have for today. Thanks for watching.
Make sure to check us out on social media at Elon News Network and on our website at elonnewsnetwork.com.
Have a great week, Elon.